Welcome to my channel History Coins HD. If you love discovering hidden treasures and learning about rare US coins, you're in the right place. In today's video, we'll reveal some of the most valuable coins that could be worth far more than you think. Stick around till the end, you won't want to miss what these rare gems are really worth. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel to enjoy more discoveries in future. Let's dive in. Coin number 1. Today, I'm going to take you deep into the story of one of America's most fascinating modern coins, the United States of America Susan B. Anthony $1 coin from 1979. And trust me, if you're a collector or even someone who just loves finding treasures, you're going to want to hear every word until the end, because I'm going to reveal how a simple-looking coin like this can be worth far more than its face value. Now let's set the stage. It's 1979 and the US Mint was about to make history by putting a real American hero, Susan B. Anthony, on a circulating coin. This was the very first time in US history that a real woman's portrait appeared on a regular circulating American coin. That alone gives it an incredible historical charm that collectors love. The idea was to replace the bulky Eisenhower dollar with something smaller and easier to carry, but the plan had some surprises in store for the mint and for collectors. When the Susan B. Anthony dollar came out, many people actually confused it with the quarter because of its similar size and color. But here's the thing, for coin lovers, that was a blessing in disguise, because most people ignored it, and many coins ended up preserved in beautiful condition instead of getting worn out in circulation. And that's where the rarity game starts. Among the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars, there are special versions that make collectors' hearts race. One of the most famous is the wide rim or near-date variety. On these coins, the rim around the design is thicker and the date is closer to the edge compared to the regular narrow rim version. That little difference can mean a big jump in value for collectors. Imagine finding a coin in your change and realizing it's one of the rarer wide rim varieties. That's the thrill every treasure hunter lives for. Then there are error coins. Yes, even in 1979, the US Mint wasn't perfect. Some coins were struck with weak edges, doubled designs, or unusual planchet flaws that make them completely unique. These mint errors are like snowflakes, no two are exactly the same, and that uniqueness can drive their value way beyond the standard price. Collectors absolutely crave these because they're true one-of-a-kind finds. Here's a tip for collectors: always look carefully at the date, the rim, and the mint mark. Some 1979 coins were minted in Philadelphia, some in Denver, and some in San Francisco. The San Francisco coins with proof finishes or special striking details can be especially valuable if kept in perfect condition. And speaking of condition, the state of your coin is everything. A coin in crisp, uncirculated condition can be worth several times more than one that's been in heavy circulation. Now let's talk about demand. Right now, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar has a strong collector base because it's a short series coin. It was only made for circulation in 1979, 1980, and 1981, with one final run in 1999. That means it's easy for collectors to aim for a complete set, and that keeps demand high. If you have a pristine example, especially one of those rare varieties or mint errors, you're sitting on something people actively search for at coin shows, online auctions, and private sales. And now, the part you've been waiting for: the value. A 1979 Susan B. Anthony $1 coin in uncirculated condition or with rare varieties like the wide rim can sell for hundreds of dollars, and in some cases, much more depending on rarity and error type. There have been examples sold at major coin auctions in the United States for prices reaching as high as $2,500, especially for pristine proof strikes and spectacular mint errors. That's right, a coin with a face value of $1 selling for the price of a high-end laptop. So, my advice: don't overlook this coin if you see it. Check your old drawers, your coin jars, and especially your inherited collections. You never know when you might come across a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar that could make your day, or your bank account, a whole lot happier. This coin is a piece of history, a symbol of change, and for the right collector, a treasure worth chasing. If you enjoyed learning about this beautiful and rare coin, make sure you hold on to this excitement and dive into your own collection. The thrill of finding a rare variety is like nothing else in the world. Happy hunting, and may your next coin find be the one that changes your collection forever. Coin number 2. Have you ever come across a big, bold silver-colored coin in your change and thought, wow, this feels different? Well, today, I'm taking you into the exciting world of one of America's most powerful dollar coins, the 1971 D. Eisenhower $1. And trust me, this is not just any coin. This is a piece of history, a collector's dream, and in some cases, a hidden treasure that could be worth far more than you'd expect. So stay with me until the very last second because I'm going to share the details that could help you spot one of the most valuable versions of this coin. The Eisenhower dollar holds a special place in U.S. coin history because it was the first dollar coin issued after the Peace Dollar series ended in 1935. That's over 3 decades without a circulating dollar coin, and then suddenly, in 1971, the mint brings back this large, impressive piece featuring President Dwight D. Eisenhower on the front and a bold Apollo 11 moon landing design on the back. The 1971 D version, struck at the Denver Mint, is the first year of issue, which automatically makes it a must-have for collectors. Now here's where it gets interesting for treasure hunters. The 1971 D Eisenhower dollar was made mostly for circulation, which means the majority have seen years of handling, scratching, and wearing down. That's why finding one in uncirculated or mint state condition is so thrilling. A bright, sharp, and well-preserved example can stand out instantly in a coin show or auction, attracting eager collectors who know just how significant this first-year Denver Mint coin really is. But we're not just talking about condition here, there are varieties and minting quirks that make certain 1971 D Eisenhower dollars even more valuable. For example, there are known peg leg varieties where the lower part of the R in Liberty appears missing or incomplete due to a die polishing error. There are also coins with striking differences in the relief, details in Eisenhower's hair, and even slight doubling in the lettering. These are the kinds of details that turn an ordinary coin into something extraordinary in a collector's eyes. If you're a coin enthusiast, here's a tip: always check your coin under good lighting and magnification. Look for strong detail in the eagle on the reverse and crisp lettering all around the rim. A clear mint mark D above the date is also important to examine because some mint marks are weak or appear differently due to die wear, and those subtle differences can make your coin more desirable to variety specialists. Collectors love the Eisenhower series because of its size, its historical importance, and the fact that it bridges the gap between silver dollars of the past and the smaller modern dollar coins. And because the series is relatively short, dedicated collectors are always trying to complete it, which means the first-year 1971 D is in constant demand, especially in high grades or with rare varieties. Now here's the moment you've been waiting for: the value. A standard circulated 1971 D Eisenhower $1 coin might not fetch much, but in mint state condition, especially with a unique variety or mint error, it can command serious attention. In fact, pristine examples graded at the highest levels have been known to sell for as much as $4,000 in major U.S. coin auctions. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks like it just left the Denver Mint over 50 years ago and realizing it could bring in the kind of money that turns a collector's dream into reality. So if you have a 1971 D Eisenhower dollar, treat it with care. Store it in a protective holder, avoid touching the surfaces, and if it looks like it's in exceptional shape, consider having it graded by a reputable service. Because in the world of coin collecting, condition, rarity, and history can combine to create something truly valuable. And you never know, the coin sitting quietly in your drawer could be the very one collectors have been hunting for. Happy collecting, and remember, every coin has a story, but some coins, like the 1971 D Eisenhower dollar, can also have a surprise ending that's worth far more than the number stamped on its face. Coin number 3. Have you ever picked up a coin and felt the weight of history in your hand? Today I'm going to tell you about a coin that carries not just metal but a story of rarity and collector excitement: the 1972 D Eisenhower $1 coin. And believe me, this is not a coin you want to overlook. There are things about this big bold dollar that could make it one of the most exciting pieces you ever find in your collection, so stay with me until the end because I'll be sharing the exact details you need to spot the rare ones that could be worth much more than their face value. The Eisenhower dollar itself is a fascinating chapter in American coinage. First released in 1971, it honored President Dwight D. Eisenhower on the obverse and celebrated one of America's greatest achievements, the Apollo 11 moon landing, on the reverse. The 1972 D was struck at the Denver Mint and is part of only the second year of issue for this series, which already makes it attractive for collectors aiming for a complete run of Ike dollars. But what really fuels the excitement for the 1972 D are the varieties, the errors, and the condition that can push its value far beyond what most people expect. When the Mint produced these coins in 1972, they used copper-nickel clad composition for circulation strikes, and the Denver Mint made millions of them. But here's the truth: collectors know well, even when millions are minted, certain examples stand out for their condition or their mistakes, and those are the coins that make the collecting world light up. Many of the coins were heavily used in casinos, vending machines, and everyday transactions, so high-grade uncirculated pieces are much harder to find than you might think. Now let's talk about something exciting: mint errors and varieties. While the most famous Eisenhower dollar varieties for 1972 are actually on the Philadelphia coins with their Type 1, 2, and 3 reverse designs, the Denver Mint coins are not without their treasures. There are 1972 D dollars showing striking anomalies like off-center strikes, die cracks, filled mint marks, and even double lettering. These mistakes often went unnoticed when the coins were first released, but now make them highly sought after because each error is unique and can't be replicated. One of the most thrilling parts of coin hunting is spotting those little differences that turn a common coin into a standout. For the 1972 D Eisenhower, you'll want to examine the lettering, the details on the eagle, and the clarity of the mint mark. A strong bold D that's perfectly struck is what you'll see most often, but if you find one where the mint mark looks distorted or partially filled, you might just be holding something special. Here's my tip for collectors: keep a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe handy when going through Eisenhower dollars. Pay close attention to the moon on the reverse; the craters and details should be crisp. Also check the edges for any unusual markings or planchet flaws. A tiny line or irregularity can be the difference between a standard coin and one that gets a collector's full attention at an auction. And of course, condition is king, and coins with full original luster, no scratches, and sharp details are the ones that command the highest prices. Eisenhower dollars have always had a dedicated following because of their size and bold designs. The 1972 D, being an early issue, benefits from that strong demand, especially among people who want a complete year in mint mark sets. When a coin has historical importance, visual appeal, and the possibility of rare errors, it's always in the spotlight in the collector's market. Now, here comes the moment you've been waiting for: the value. A regular circulated 1972 D Eisenhower $1 might be worth just its face value to most people, but a high-grade mint state example, especially with a unique mint error, can be a completely different story. Some pristine uncirculated coins have sold for as much as $1,500 in coin auctions in cities like Dallas and Orlando, where competitive collectors pushed the bidding higher and higher until one lucky person took it home. That's an incredible return for a coin that most people would pass over without a second glance, so if you come across a 1972 D Eisenhower dollar, don't treat it like loose change. Examine it closely, protect it from further wear, and if it looks exceptional, consider having it graded by a trusted service. The difference between a pocket change coin and a high-value treasure often comes down to careful handling and a sharp eye for detail. Remember, in the world of coin collecting, it's not just about what's in your hand, it's about what you see when you really look. And the 1972 D Eisenhower dollar is proof that even in a pile of coins, something extraordinary can be hiding in plain sight. Coin number 4. Have you ever held a coin that instantly made you feel like you were touching a piece of history? That's exactly the feeling you get with the 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin. And I'm telling you now, this is not just a big heavy coin from the past. This is a coin with stories, with rarity, with secret varieties that can turn it from pocket change into something truly valuable. So listen closely, because I'm going to walk you through why this coin is so special and how you can spot the ones worth serious money. The Eisenhower Dollar series began in 1971 and ran through 1978, and in that short run, it managed to become one of the most interesting modern coins in U.S. history. The 1974 issue came at a time when America was preparing to celebrate its bicentennial, and collectors were starting to take a closer look at the design and details of these coins. On the front, you've got the strong portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a leader, a war hero, and a symbol of American strength. On the back, the design takes you straight into space history with the Apollo 11 moon landing tribute, the eagle landing on the moon clutching an olive branch, inspired by the mission's insignia. Now let's get into the thrill of collecting the 1974 Eisenhower dollar. While millions were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, not all are created equal. Some carry tiny differences that most people will never notice, but collectors treasure. This could be a small doubling on the lettering, a die crack that runs across part of the design, or even an unusual strike where the details are extra sharp or slightly misaligned. These kinds of things happen during the minting process, and they create coins that are unique, no two exactly alike. Many people don't realize that even though the 1974 Eisenhower dollar was never struck for circulation in silver, there were special 40% silver collector editions made at the San Francisco Mint. If you ever come across a coin from 1974 with an S mint mark and a mirror-like proof surface or a satin-like uncirculated finish, you might have one of these special collector strikes in your hand. And those are always in demand. For everyday collectors, the key is condition. The Eisenhower dollar is a large coin, and that means it picks up scratches and marks very easily when it's in circulation. Finding a coin from 1974 that still has all of its original mint luster, with no wear on Eisenhower's cheek and sharp details on the moon and eagle, is not easy. That's why top-grade examples get snapped up so quickly at shows and online auctions. Here's a tip for anyone hunting these coins: keep a good magnifying lens nearby and take your time inspecting every detail. Look closely at the date and the mint mark. Sometimes the mint mark looks filled in or slightly doubled, which can be the result of die wear or even a minor minting error. Also check the reverse for crisp detail in the eagle's feathers and the texture of the moon's surface. A coin with bold, sharp details and no heavy marks is the kind that collectors pay top dollar for. The 1974 Eisenhower dollar also holds a strong place in the market because it's one of the last large-sized dollar coins America ever produced for circulation. That alone makes it appealing to people who grew up using it and now want to add a pristine example to their collection. When a coin has both historical meaning and the potential for rare varieties or errors, it becomes a must-have for serious collectors. And now for the part you've been waiting for: the value. While an average circulated 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin might not turn heads, a mint state example in the highest grades or one with a rare variety or minting error can fetch impressive prices. Some top condition coins have sold for as much as $1,000 at major auctions in cities like Chicago and Las Vegas, where collector competition drives the price higher and higher until the hammer drops. That's a huge return for a coin that most people would think is just $1, so if you come across a 1974 Eisenhower dollar, don't rush to spend it. Take the time to look it over, check the condition, search for unusual varieties, and if you think you've got a rare one, protect it immediately. You never know, that coin could be the highlight of your collection or the one that brings you an unexpected payday. Coin collecting is all about the excitement of discovery, and coins like the 1974 Eisenhower prove that even in modern times, treasures are still out there waiting to be found. Keep your eyes open, your tools ready, and your passion alive, because the next great find could be sitting in the palm of your hand right now.